formation flying, there's a maneuver called an echelon position, and it's off the 45 position on the guy's wing, so you maintain that position throughout the turn. So some guys can do it, some guys can't. Being a formation trained guy, I can usually roll echelon, but what we like to say, it's an uncooperative formation. So your lead is essentially rolling, and you roll with him. So the trick is to try to stay on his wing and in the echelon position, so you're not bleeding that energy in the turn, because you can't do it all in a straight, so you got to be able to manage your turns too.
You know, we are wingtip to wingtip. Every race is totally dynamic. You're flying the same course, but every time it's different because all the other guys are doing different things. You, of course, have to watch out for the guy in front of his wake turbulence. That's one of the biggest risks for us, is when you're cranked over in the turn, pulling 3.5 Gs, and you hit someone else's wake, it can flip you right over. You have to be ready for that. So yeah, it's a pretty demanding sport. It might look like we're flying around in circles, but there's a heck of a lot going on.
In auto racing, you got drafting. That doesn't work too well here because now you're in the wake turbulence or the turbulent air, and you're really controlling the airplane, fighting it to keep it control, and now you're slowing the airplane down. So you want to try to find the smooth air on the outside of them or away from them.
You got to be very, very smooth, and you got to be a good formation pilot. One of the things you will see with the less experienced guys is they try to think on a level playing field, like car racing, where they roll over next to each other and try to take it. Well, that outside course is so much wider that it takes a massive speed difference to make that happen. Where you have to be is wingtip to wingtip up here, because then the distance isn't so great. So this is the tricky part. This is where you need to be, rubbing wingtips almost, in order to overtake. So when you push onto the straightaway, you can have that extra smash because of the altitude you have on.
Yeah, so we do something called stacking. So in the corners, this is three-dimensional racing. It's not 2D like in cars. So we can climb in the corners to stay behind somebody. And then when we roll out in the straights, we can convert that altitude to airspeed and get by them on the straightaways where it's much easier.
If you don't know how to pass well, you're not going to pass. So you have to know how to time the pass to where you need to be, see what kind of closure rates you have, and coming out of the turn usually translate altitude into some airspeed and get in front of the guy, because the airplanes are so well matched. If you're not flying a good line, you're not going to catch the guy.